What's going on, YouTubulous? EXO coming at you this morning with some various questions I've been getting about the build, in particular, inverted subwoofers. So let's get into it. For starters, there's only three main reasons why people choose to invert their woofers. The first and only reason why I do it is for space issues, fitting issues. That is to say, in case the motor and basket doesn't fit on the inside of the box, you can flip it around and have it on the outside of the box. That way nothing's obstructing the bracing or the fact that the depth just might not be large enough. And the second reason is for people who have already built a box and are kind of playing around with the playability of it, experimenting a little bit, and flipping them around just in case their box was too small when they built it. You'll gain a little bit of extra volume space, and it might even sound a little bit deeper for that second option. The third option are just people who have already the perfect size box and who do it for fun, just because they think it looks cool. Even though they might not be increasing their output, it just looks a lot cooler to them and they'd rather have it that way. Now, as far as advantages go, in my case, there's a huge advantage. I would have not been able to have fit these woofers in this box any other way. I have these four mounted inverted and those mounted conventionally. That way I could have everything inside the same box in one common chamber. If otherwise, this little gap would not have been nearly enough, so that's a huge advantage for me. But in other circumstances, it might not be always advantageous for you to invert your woofers. That is, if your box is already just right. Now, there's really only one thing you gotta worry about when inverting your subs, and that's the actual inside cutout for the sub hole. So when the sub actually moves up and down, you wanna make sure that there's enough of a gap between the wood and your surround so it doesn't continuously rub and create holes. I solved that by doing a nice round over and making sure I could put my finger around the whole thing like this, and that way, when it moves up and down, like I said, it won't create any holes. And actually, one of the good things about having an application like this with inverting your woofers is cooling. Because now all the things that create the most heat and generate the most heat are on the outside of the box in a big space instead of the inside of the box in a very small space, which it tends to build up much, much hotter in the inside. Okay, yeah, it looks cool, but does it make it louder? I'm sorry to say, guys, but as a general rule of thumb, inverting your woofers isn't going to increase the output of your box any unless you built it to inaccurate specs from the get-go. Say if you built a box that was totally botched and it was too small to begin with, yes, inverting your woofers may make it louder and make it sound better too. But as a general rule of thumb, you're not going to increase your output by just inverting your woofers with an accurate size box. Polarity, probably the most misconceived part of inverting your subwoofers. When do you change it? Should you change it? And what the hell is it for? A lot of people think that if you have inverted woofers, you need to invert the polarity. That's not the case. The only time you ever change the polarity from one woofer to the next is if one is mounted differently, like this install. I have these ones wired regularly, and then the two ones that are mounted differently, I inverted the signal. Say if you had a dual 12 box and one of them was like this, and one of them was mounted inverted and the other one was mounted conventionally, you would only have to, you could pick and choose which one you would want to switch the polarity to. Everything goes the same in every application. If it's common chamber, you're gonna only have to do the one that's different. So this is EXO. I hope I answered some questions about inverted subs, just because I've been getting them so much all the time because of obviously my application has four big bad boys looking all pretty. So I will talk to you guys on the next video. Please leave a request in the comments for any more information that you'd like to learn. Alright, this is EXO, signing out. Woo!